Our top story, the Lalit Modi saga that has huge political ramifications. Vasundhara Raje has reportedly admitted to party leaders that she did 4 years ago sign a document in which she backed the immigration appeal of Lalit Modi. Sources have told NDTV that the BJP does not plan to ask her to resign as Rajasthan Chief Minister. Instead, in her support, the party could say the contentious affidavit was presented as personal support and not in her official capacity. For more on this story, we're joined in here, of course, by NDTV's Barkha Dutt, who's been tracking that story, also tracking many other aspects of this story, Siddharth Pandey and Sonal Mehrotra. But to Barkha first. Barkha, Vasundhara Raje now reportedly owning up to the signature, but the big question remains, what will be the BJP's next step?
Well, Shweta, at the moment, the BJP is absolutely silent. I suspect if their spokespersons do come on television, which they haven't done through the day, ever since it was confirmed by NDTV through an independent handwriting expert that the signature is in fact real, so that Vasundhara Raje can't even claim or hide behind a forgery, the forgery claim anymore, which was possibly her last defense. The BJP has gone into a huddle. Our sources are telling us for the first time in 10 days, Ms Raje has owned up to the affidavit and the signature being hers. This is the first time she has made this confession to the party. However, she's continuing to argue that the context in which she signed must be considered, and that she signed not as leader of opposition, but in her personal capacity as a friend of Lalit Modi's. My own feeling is that this will not wash. This is not an argument that will stand, because the leaked document clearly has her referencing her role as a BJP leader and her family's historic ties with the BJP. And let's not forget that at the moment when this happened, she was in fact the leader of the opposition, which is a constitutional post. My sense is the defense you'll hear from the BJP, if it comes at all, will be half-hearted. Ms Raje may have dug her heels in for now. Maybe the BJP is worried that she could split the party in Rajasthan. Maybe the BJP is worried that if Raje goes, Sushma Swaraj could be next, that there could be a domino effect that in the end will leave the entire government, including the Prime Minister, vulnerable. Maybe those are their apprehensions, and that's why they're not acting. But I personally do not believe that Ms Raje can manage to brazen out this one. I believe that it is a matter of time and she will eventually have to step down.
All right, and that's the big question, really. It is perhaps the toughest time for the BJP government in its over 1 year in office. Barkha, we'll come to you on more details and some of the exclusive details you've been bringing to us on this story through the day. But first, I'd like to go across also to my colleague Sonal Mehrotra, because before sources confirmed to us that Vasundhara Raje has owned up to that signature, NDTV managed to independently verify and get a test done. Sonal, what are the details?
Well, Shweta, we had a situation in front of us where the signature of Vasundhara Raje on a secret affidavit, which actually come from the Congress party, had to be verified. So we took two signatures to an independent expert. One, the signature which was there on the affidavit, and the other, which is on a Government of India documentation, which is, of course, the original one. We took both of them to an independent expert and asked them to verify if that was indeed done by the same person. Now, there are two steps in which the entire process was carried out. Number one, they first tried to see if somebody had actually forged the entire signature. That would perhaps be, revealed if there were cuts or the flow of the signature had any discrepancy. Then it would say that somebody was actually trying to carve out the entire signature on their own. That process involved detailed, inquiry. There was magnified, printouts of both the signatures were taken. And first process, the step one was okay. Right. When the experts told us that it did look like it was done in the same flow as Ms Raje's original signature was. In fact, he also gave us interesting details about her personality while taking us through the course of the entire signature process. Number two, then the big question came of whether, if it is done in the same flow, it could well be a case of copy. Somebody could easily trace out a signature, or even could now, with various technologies available online or computer, could easily trace it down, just copy it on a computer as well. Now, for that, they did a, very detailed procedure, and the result of that is in front of us. This is what is called the rule square method, in which both the signatures, the original, which we've taken from the government copy, and the other, which is on the affidavit, were put in the same proportion on two different tracing papers. Then they were put in line on a grid, which was well defined as well. And what you see in front of you is a complete match of the two signatures. The minor discrepancies then show that are only humanly different. The experts also told us that, had it been a complete copy, an exact copy of the two, it would have been a case of forgery, because there is no way a human being can actually make the complete signature twice exactly the same way. There is no rubber stamp, that is available in the, a process in the human body as well. So that's why the major discrepancies, the minor, in fact, discrepancies which have come have only been because of human error. And in conclusion, the details, the experts have told us that the affidavit on which, for the Lalit Modi affidavit, was indeed signed by Vasundhara Raje. In about another hour or so, we'll have a complete detailed copy from the forensic experts into what exactly were the reasons and why do they believe that this one is actually signed by Vasundhara Raje.
Shweta, at this point, I think it's important to reflect a little bit on what's going on inside the BJP, and I want to bring in Rahul here. Rahul, we've been talking all day about the BJP's dilemma. Now, would it be fair to say that the dilemma goes something like this? The BJP believes that Raje's offence is resignable, but the BJP is worried that if Ms Raje goes, Sushma Swaraj may be next, there could be a domino effect, and if Sushma goes, she could turn the heat on the Prime Minister. She could, for example, theoretically say the entire government was in the loop when her ministry decided not to appeal against the verdict that restored Lalit Modi's passport.
Barkha, I talked to a couple of senior leaders in the party, top level leaders, and I raised this issue with them. What they are saying, that these leaders are too old and experienced leaders. The party values them, and somewhere they don't expect something like this will eventually be happening. What they are more worried about is that what kind of damage will be there if the opposition tastes blood and the party acts against
But
one
Rahul,
of the
how are
leaders.
they hoping to defend this? And the reason I ask you this is because you remember for the first 2 days, nobody defended Ms Raje. Chandan Mitra said on this channel, let her come and defend herself. Suddenly, you had the spokespeople last Friday coming out to defend her. You had Mr Gadkari going to Jaipur and defending her. On what grounds did they defend her? Did they actually believe what may have been a private denial, or were they just hoping this document would not leak?
But what we are being told now, that the BJP, it seems last week, was aware of what exactly the document was, how deep the association was.
Why did they defend
All these
her?
details were very clear.
So why did
the
they defend
BJP
her?
chose to defend primarily because of the fact that somewhere, one, the BJP is convinced that in the courts in England, where this testimony is, for which the testimony was given, largely did not rule their in favor of Mr. Lalit Modi's stay in England, primarily on the basis of Vasundhara Raje's testimony. One fact which is emerging from London is that the Home Department is now indicating that that did not have a bearing. His stay was as legit.
She could, Rahul, technically argue that she never went to testify in court and she refused to give a video testimony. But that will not change the fact, even if he had lost the case in court, which he did not, it doesn't change the fact that she signed it. And she signed it and wanted her name to be withheld from Indian authorities. So whether or not it had a bearing or not is actually immaterial.
But the fact remains is that the BJP has largely scrutinized the documents, and they are of the belief that these, whatever is the position right now, these documents and the charges which are there are not enough, that Vasundhara Raje needs to resign over that. That might be because of the political compulsions in Rajasthan. That might be because it might trigger a dominoes cascading impact as far as the other leaders in the cabinet facing charges for associations with Lalit Modi are concerned. Whatever the BJP's logic right now, what they are conveying to more or less to us is the fact that this is not a resignable offence. This is not an offence on which the BJP is going to go.
Are you saying, and let me ask you a last question, are you saying this is the BJP will defend her? Because I haven't heard a BJP spokesperson speak all day, by the way, today. Are you saying the BJP will defend her, or they will put up a pretense of defending her till she actually resigns?
But if you notice, you yourself said that on the first day, initially, Chandan Mitra said Vasundhara should defend herself. 3 days later, they started defending her. Today, they are saying that what is the offence? She was just not talking as a leader of opposition, but merely as an individual.
But she talks
we can see
about
that
her
they have managed
But Rahul, she talks about her political persona in the affidavit.
Yes, she might be talking about her political persona, but that question can be addressed largely by Vasundhara Raje, Scindia or the BJP. Why did you want to you pick that? But the point is that they have managed 10 days. And what one can sense from the whole thing is that they are trying to avert a crisis which emerged sometime in 2010 when trying to fix an accountability for the debacle in Rajasthan. At that time, she was pushed to resign. There was a spectacle on the streets of Delhi. MLAs supporting Vasundhara Raje, those opposing her, marching on to LK Advani's residence, to the residence of Rajnath Singh. Vasundhara having late night meeting with Rajnath Singh. The BJP was in a bind at that time. At least they have managed to avert that kind of crisis. There are communication channels buzzing. And in this scenario, what one can say is, perhaps the idea is, let the situation develop and let Vasundhara take a call, not push her. That way
Rahul,
the BJP escapes the crisis.
The question still remains that does the BJP find itself in a bind even now? Because you're saying they've managed to avert a crisis, or is it a bigger crisis facing the BJP now?
Because we are debating for the last 10 days and the BJP does not have answers.